Hello, fellow artists. Today I'm going to be reviewing, let's see which one it is. I'm going to be reviewing the Hi-Tec pin. This is the Hi-Tec pin. I believe this is a 5, Hi-Tec 0.5. Now, these pins are really delicate. I've worked with these pins before, and they have a really unique feel on the paper. I'm going to be drawing a simpler drawing today. My daughter she asked me, why do I create such mean looking characters when I'm doing the lesson art review? So I'm going to make this one a lot funner. Okay, so and like always, I start my drawings if you've seen my shorts, I draw initially without picking up my pen, but this pen has great ink flow. It's a different application that I normally do from the Bic pen drawings, because the Bic pen, it's something that you can do really fast. So with this one, you got to kind of slow down and find out what is going to be the best application for this kind of ink style. So I'm going to draw something a little bit more fun today. Where am I going to go with this? Actually, I just changed my mind. I'm going to draw something with a little bit more of a mechanical feel, because the pen line is so thin. You can already see how thin it is. So it has a good flow. And with this kind of pen, it kind of introduces a different way of drawing, because the pen tip is so small. It kind of gets me to think of more of a mechanical feel of what it is that I'm going to draw. So I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to try to speed this up so you can kind of get a look and feel of what the pen can do after it's done. So I'm kind of going to just draw like a little, if you'll have any like art requests as far as who you would like me to draw when I'm doing these little art review, art lessons things, let me know, and I will do that. Just leave a comment who you would like me to draw. So with this pen, kind of slowing it down. The ink flows really good, and then also because the tip is so thin, it can grip onto the paper. So what I don't want to do is go too fast and then it get caught up on the paper, because that's gonna, it's not gonna go well. So here I'm just continually adding more lines and more depth on this thing. And this is going to be I was drawing astronauts for a while. I actually have a free coloring book out. You can download from the site if you want. But I got into drawing this particular astronaut. Now this one is going to be more detailed because I want to review this pen. but I also don't want this to get too long. I forgot my stopwatch. I don't know where it is. I'm already at 5 minutes. So let me kind of pick up. So the Hi-Tec 5, see how these really little lines, and then I can kind of compartmentalize what I'm drawing here to add kind of some a tech feel of what it is that I'm going to put in there. And this is kind of where the strap is going underneath. This is his suit. And then with this astronaut, I always drew him with little hands. I don't know why I did that, but it kind of had a good contrast with his body being so big that his hands were really little. And then kind of add different line work. This should be curved a little bit more. Let me curve this more. Yeah. So then we're going to go here, and I'm going to put his little belt, which is belt. You know, you add all these little kind of features while you're drawing to create depth. It's not necessarily a particular thing that you're drawing. This astronaut has a cassette tape for his belt, and then I always had this like kind of cord thing going here, kind of a little too close to this line. So here's the beauty of that pen. It kind of can fit in these tight places and still create this kind of mechanical feel. I forgot how I messed up on the face, but yeah, I forgot how I did his face already. Wow, I need to go back to my old drawings. But the Hi-Tec 5, there's different sizes to this pen. And then, like always, the links for what I'm using are inside the description. And then here is where it gets interesting with adding shade, because I do this circular kind of cross-hatching thing, and then I just kind of fan out. And this is kind of just to block things in and create depth. Where I'm at 8 minutes. And then I'm going to put his little belt sequence here. And you can see why this Hi-Tec 5 is so good for this stuff, because it's so thin. I'm just separating his hand here from that background. And then it even has a different sound than the big pen. I'm going to bring this arm back, and I'm already running out of room here. So how am I going to finish this and it look somewhat... I'm just going to... Here's his knee pad, his leg and his foot. Way too bendy. this is all off. So let me come back over here and fix this. I'm gonna have to change that leg because I think this leg should actually just do this. And him have a more stoic bend to his leg. Actually come out like this. Which even that's a little off. He's way... How am I gonna fix this? Let's see. Let's cut out the background here. And then get really close to this. This is gonna separate this. Good ink flow, good line texture. And you can see, I don't know if the camera can actually capture the kind of detail in here. Another thing, when you scoot your hand back, you can get more of these flowy lines. And then as I scoot it up is when I get into the more detail. And I'm doing this to kind of block out the shading. Now this Hi-Tec 10 is really good to get those kind of mechanical details. Like if you're flopping out different size pins, which might be a good, like a different, this is 10, there's a 0.5, no, this is a 5, sorry, the Hi-Tec 5, and then they have a 3, this is a 0.3, and then they have a 0.4. If you switch out the inks, the ink sizes, you can get some different depths. And now I'm going to bring my hand closer, and this is kind of just for that hand. And I'm going to bring it back up, and you can see how just in a short period of time we got a base of a character that we can kind of go into more detail. And now I'm going to start blocking out. I got to be delicate with the way that I'm moving this pen because it doesn't flow necessarily like a big pen where it can just glide across the paper. It's kind of like a more concentrated style of shading. But when you have it back up like this, you can kind of block out things and then get into really small tight spaces. Now this Hi-Tec 5, sorry, I think I've been saying 10 the whole time, is from Pilot. So this is, Pilot makes great pens and I use them a lot. And I'm going to come into here and make this tube pop. Now with the Hi-Tec pen, you can't turn it like that, like you can do with a big pen and create that like pencil shading. You have to keep this nib on the paper. And you can feel the pen start gripping the grain of the paper. So you have to be careful, and the wetter the ink gets in that area and concentrated, you don't want to stay there too long because you can get into ripping the paper. Now, I believe the big pen review I did was with a 80-gram piece of paper, so it was thinner. This is 120-gram paper, and I tend to use the same kind of paper a lot because it's so smooth. This paper has a great feel to it. And I'll link that too. And I'm linking all kinds of stuff. It's like, come on, dude. Alright, so, and if I get quiet like always, it's because I get into this art mode. And remember to keep it light, keep it fun, paint these happy little lines everywhere. Try to make it to where, you know, for me, if I start thinking, does this look good, it makes it less fun for me. You know, to me, art is mental health. It's like a therapeutic thing. It's not necessarily for me per se done for, you know, this looks good or whatever. I just like to draw and explore all these pens. I can geek out on art material. It's just every one of these little pieces of material do things different. So here's the gist of it. Is it on the inside of this? And creating kind of glares on this. And then when you kind of get in here and put these little blocks of ink right where these lines are, you can create this cool little depth on one side. Just make it fall on the line. It kind of has a unique look to it. Where am I at? 17 minutes. Okay, I'm going to end here. This is the Hi-Tec 5 pilot pen. I hope you liked it. And leave a comment on what character art you want me to do later.
EQ. Subscribe, like, comment,